All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So Kenny Chesney breaks a record, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Rock might be dead, and country is not. Country music is alive and well and doing phenomenal business here in this country, whether it be how many streams these artists get, how many albums these people are able to sell, and they're still selling product. And there are new country artists that come out all the time. And yeah, sometimes I think the turnover rate is a little high, I would say, in the country music business. But here's the deal. At least the business is thriving. And this article that I read was pretty mind-blowing. And this is about Kenny Chesney, who, look, he's kind of a legend, and he was, I think, 8 times Entertainer of the Year, 8 times. So Kenny started out back in the 90s when I took my little right turn over to country music. And I did for a number of years. I loved country music, and I still love country music. I don't like today's country as much as the stuff from the 90s, but there seems to be maybe a little pivot happening when you have a guy like Chris Stapleton show up on the scene. And then there are other artists that are putting the country back into country music, and that's good. If I turn on a country radio station, I can maybe listen for a half hour before I hear something that I'm like, this just doesn't sound like country to me. It's got like some click track beat, and it's all slow, and there's a little twang in there, but it's like a guy, he's almost kind of rapping a little bit over whatever the music is. I will say this, the worst country stuff that I hear is better than what is on a mainstream rock station today. It's just, that's the way I see it, because melody and subject matter to me are very important. I'm tired of hearing about how everything sucks, and I hear that in that music. I've heard that in rock music for 30 years plus. And one of the reasons I think people decided, okay, I'm just going to let go of this. A lot of the producers that used to produce rock albums started producing country albums in the 90s. That's a dirty little secret. People came over and said, hey, this sounds more like the music we made in the late 70s, early 80s, whatever. So we'll come over here because you guys are still, upbeat and writing fun songs. And that's the issue here with Kenny Chesney. The guy has written a ton of fun songs. And guess what? People want to blow off steam. They're tired of the negativity. And you may say it's goofy, it's cheesy, all of the things you constantly hear. Oh, this is cheesy. Guys, yeah, singing about your tractor again. Here comes Bob on the tractor, and he's got a 6-pack of beer. So who cares? It's better than, slitting your wrists and, getting all just, I don't know. There's just a difference in tone and subject matter. And the music itself, if it's good country music, it's uplifting. 90% of the time, it's really uplifting. Now, there are ballads in country, and some of those are really depressing and sad. I remember there are a bunch of ballads in the 90s that you listen to, and you're like, whoa, what was it? Don't Take the Girl by Tim McGraw. It was like, you listen to that song, you're like, you'd need therapy after that. You'd be like, no, don't take the girl. Even if it was just a song, a made up story, which it kind of sounds like it was, or maybe it was based on a true story. I don't know. But some of that stuff was like, all right, it's a little too heavy. But then a couple songs later, you were back to, doing the watermelon crawl. It's just, everything was okay. And, Kenny Chesney here sets this record in Nashville. Check this out. Kenny Chesney's name has been synonymous with summertime, so it's only fitting that his Here and Now tour made a stop in Nashville on Memorial Day weekend. It's been nearly 4 years since the superstar headlined a show in Nashville, and it's safe to say fans were ready for his return. 57,211 people descended upon Nissan Stadium for Chesney's show, setting a new attendance record for Music City's Riverside venue. 57,211 people. There's not a rock show on the planet right now that can get near that number. People are all excited about the stadium tour this year, Motley Crue and Def Leppard. And it's like, what are they going to get? 10,000 people, and they're going to sell it out, maybe 20,000? 57. That's a number like from the 70s where rock bands would roam the earth. That's a number that you might see in those days with certain bands, but not anymore. Hours before the doors opened, fans flocked to the parking lots and they poured into the stadium early to catch Carly Pearce, Old Dominion, and Dan and Shay's opening set. So had a number of other artists, 3 other artists warming up for Kenny Chesney. And there's a photograph of this stadium, and it's just incomprehensible how many people are in that building. So, I mean, again, Chesney here set the bar for a supercharged evening of hits, including set list staples like Summertime, No Shoes, No Shirt, No Problems. See, and this is the kind of music that makes people happy. That's what this is about. And by the way, country music is played with guitars, lots of guitars, sometimes some pedal steel guitar, sometimes a fiddle, sometimes a banjo. I mean, it's kind of cool because they use real instruments for the most part. I don't know if they do it during the production of a lot of these newer country records, but they're letting it rip, I mean, live, and you get to hear actual organic instrumentation, which to me, even if it is country, is far better than most of the stuff that pop music is doing these days, although there's a lot of pop music that's really popular. But what I like about country is, again, the subject matter is far more tolerable, upbeat, optimistic. Not in every song. I'm not saying it's every song, but the dark matter of mainstream rock, there's very little to celebrate over there. Whereas if you're a country music fan, you're on a tractor pull, you're drinking whiskey, you're having fun, and people, especially in the year 2022, they need to blow off steam and they need to have a little bit of fun. That's why again, you're in Nashville on top of it, 57,000 people show up to see Kenny Chesney. That's extraordinary to me. That is a real indication of where we are. And even if you don't like country music, you have to kind of acknowledge that, hey, that format's not dead. Nobody's running around saying country is dead. Now, the purists are running around saying, well, real country is dead. I think real country is kind of making a bit of a comeback here, but there's enough of more traditional country out there that fans of the format have something to grab onto, and the people who are more into that bro country stuff or that R&B flavored country stuff, yeah, that's not my cup of tea either, but melodically speaking, it's got more going for it than anything in the rock or pop side of things. So good for country music, right? Good for Nashville, and good for a guy who's been around for a long time, who still is very viable, looks great up there on stage. He's probably, my age or a couple of years younger, and he looks and sounds fantastic, and people showed up, and it's kind of eye-opening to see how many people are enjoying a fun concert, which again, you won't see this, even anything close to this in the world of rock. And yeah, there are some great tours out there. I mentioned in another video about Styx, REO Speedwagon, Loverboy. That's a great tour, but it won't attract 57,000 people. And I don't know any of the newer rock bands that could pull 57,000 people having this much fun, blowing off this much steam and singing at the top of their lungs, you know, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, folks, I mean, you may disagree, you may not like country, I get it. You may think, so why are you going in this direction? I'm not. I'm just noticing that this is a really popular format and people are loving it. And I think that's good. People need an outlet. And apparently Kenny Chesney is providing an outlet for a lot of people. All right, done with this video. I have no country music to promote. I could hold up a new album by somebody, but I typically don't buy country music. I like it. I'll listen to it from time to time. And maybe I'll be doing a few more videos about some of the stuff happening because, you know, as rock kind of dies its slow death, like what happened to me in the 90s, I just said, you know what? I'm going to go listen to some Joe Diffie. You know, I'm Alan Jackson. I mean, that's the kind of country that I really got into and I still like it. And Kenny's been around since the 90s. So I kind of have an affinity for some of his stuff. Anyway, people, that's my video. I'm done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget Patreon for $1 a month. At least subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'm a music observer of all music. That's why I didn't say the real rock observer or the real whatever observer. Music is music. And if it's good music, I'm into it. Even if you might not be, I might be into it. So be careful. You know, I'm not saying be careful because I might go off the rails and start wearing a cowboy hat, but you never know. You know, cowboy hat covers up a receding hairline, so it's not a bad thing. See you soon.